Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia, and this is the summary for the day of 1011 for the 30th of November. And we're going to go, of course, the frontline changes, frontline changes report has already been published. Sorry, I was caught in two minds. I was trying to say two things at the same time, and I got confused. So anyway, can you speak two things at the same time? Two different sentences at the same time. No, let me know. So anyway, we're gonna continue with the SITREP and frontline changes report published already. So to check it out if you want. And I also published a separate video on the DPA news channel, as well as another SITREP for the Syrian war, which is going to shit. So anyway, we're going to start off with this time around. Let's start off with the Kherson front, and we had over the Kherson front there is pretty quiet, not much things. There is, however, a geolocation of Iskander striking Ukrainian positions over in Rivne. This is very far away. The Russians have never been here before, so. But that's all. We move into the Zaporizhia front. It's very quiet. There's nothing happening around here. We move into the Donetsk front. So at the Donetsk front, at the Velika Novosilka sector, the Russian forces are very active in this sector. Particularly, the Russians have taken all of the open grounds which I mentioned that the Ukrainians would not be able to hold west of Novodonetsk. This has happened, and the fighting is now moving towards this one is Otoberske or Balachodatne, and then there's fighting reported. Essentially there's fighting at Urzaine because of the frontline change. There's fighting reported at Velika Novosilka, Novi Koma, Rozdone. Shelling is reported at Vilnipole. Fighting is reported at Novosilka, Rivnopil, Novodarivka as Novopil, and this is what? Rivnopil. There's Novopil, sorry. Yeah. Have you eaten your pills? No, so Novopil. So that's the situation. This Velika Novosilka sector is one of the most active front line right now, and it's also the front line that is falling the fastest at this moment because of this unholdable salient close to Novodonetsk due to the Russian southern push towards Velika Novosilka. So this front line will continue to collapse based on my projections or based on the strategic situation on the ground. So let's continue to watch and see how this continue to develop. And we move on. Geolocation of Russian forces on the east of Rozdone doesn't matter. Over at the western flank of Uspenivka, fighting is reported towards. I think I should zoom out. I should zoom in. Fighting is reported at Rozliv, Konstantinopolsk, as well as Uspenivka. So this is the western flank. This part is still pretty quiet. No fighting reported at Sukiyali though. Over at the eastern flank, this part is a bit it's closing but slowly. Geolocation of Russian forces on the western part of Ilinka, which most likely means the Russians have fully captured Ilinka. Just that my frontline changes here is on the conservative side. The Russian Defense Ministry actually announced the capture of Ilinka. So I think actually it's today. I think I put the wrong date. Yeah, I think it's this. Yeah, in today's report. Maybe, Then there's fighting reported at Antonivka as well as Chernihiv. By the Ukrainian Defense Ministry, they are still lagging behind real time somehow. They're still talking about Antonivka and Chernihiv when fighting is already way past these two locations. Fighting is now objectively at Romanivka, Khanivka, Vasilihai, and Uspenivka, and is probably coming from two sides. Konstantinopolsk is mentioned just now, and in the region of Dalny. So this is the current situation in Uspenivka, and you can clearly see this is just one funnel. It's just going to get squeezed out eventually. So over in the southern flank of the Kurakhove sector, Russian forces geolocated in the south of Kurakhove. There is still fighting reported in this region. And in Dalny, the Russian forces have fully captured all of the region and almost not all of the region in the north of Dalny, closing on the main road, validating most of the Russian claims. And fighting is already moving in the direction of Dashne. So The fighting is now moving in the direction of Dashny already. Dashny has been mentioned by the Ukrainian Defense Ministry. So so most likely the Russians are already moving in the direction, getting pretty close. So that's the current situation in this sector. In the northern flank, so I'm gonna do this. In the northern flank, Russian forces also have expanded control. They have captured Bereski for real right now, and Russian forces have expanded control, moving towards Staritani and securing the northern flank of Bereski. With this, which means that the Russian forces most likely will close down all this area here. It's going to be a collapse of the entire salient because it's just impossible for the Ukrainians to hold this position around here. Withdrawal is the only way to save their life. So this likely what's going to happen. Fighting is reported in the Sonsevka region. So that's the current situation in the northern flank of the Kurakove sector. We don't have to go too far. Let's wait for the salient to collapse and then we can talk further in terms of the strategic situation. And then we move up to the Selidove region. Just before we reach there, there is fighting report at Zoria. So that's all. Over at this Selidove region, so I think I should zoom out, should zoom in. let's zoom in. So fighting is reported at Pushkine. And for the first time, we have Novo Olenivka mentioned by the Russian Defense Ministry. So this is the first time reports of any fighting is near at Novo Olenivka. And the Russian forces continue to expand the control around Zovte, moving towards the southern part of Novopustinka, which is over here. There's also, there's also fighting mentioned at Virozhenia, Lichansky, Lysivka, as well as Shevchenko. So this, and Russian Defense Ministry in today's report, I think, yeah, it's today's report. This is the wrong date. My bad. Mentioned that they have captured Petrivka. Geolocation of Russian forces along the highway doesn't change the front line but confirm the Russian presence in the northeast of Ryhorivka. So this sector will continue to continue to collapse. You can just imagine if you are the Ukrainian commander, how are you going to defend this place? It's very complicated, very messy, and the Russians are making it really messy for the Ukrainians. So they're not like pushing in a straight line. They are like pushing in like a here and there. It's a lot of hooks, left hook, right hook, and it's very complicated, to organize a defense. When the Russians constantly trying to flank you, and we move into the Pokrov sector. So as mentioned, Vorozhenia and Dachensky, Lysivka, all this has fighting reported in these areas here. Further on, there is also fighting reported at Minokhrad, Promin, Horodevka, as well as Mariolibivka. So, but this front line here is going to be a static front line. In fact, it leads all the way to Lysivka. Dachensky, maybe there will still be some push. The main real action is going to be coming up from the south in this direction. They're going to come out from here. First target, of course, is Virozhenia. So after Virozhenia, the Russians are going to close down on the south of Pokrov. So mainly whatever it is, if you don't really understand the minute details, just understand that the Russians are holding the line around here. Ukrainians are pretty happy with holding this line here, but the Russians can't attack like this. This is the frontal attack. They will just die. So which is why the Russians are making this big arrow flanking movement towards the western part of Pokrovsk, and then try to close down on the front line, close the front line closer and closer to Pokrovsk, and hopefully maybe create some desperate situation to force the Ukrainians into a mass withdrawal in one direction. And with multiple front line, then they will start to attack into Pokrovsk from multiple directions, including Minokhrad. So that is going to be what they're going to do. So it is whatever we are watching now is just all the minute, small little advances, but the big arrow objective is definitely the flanking of Pokrov. So, but it's going to take some time. It's not going to be fast. So I believe this will still take quite a bit of time. But it's important to note that the front line to the border of the Donetsk region is merely 14 kilometers. This is really close. no, it's unimaginable that the Russians have reached this point. You have to understand, once upon a time, where no, you are watching DPA, the front line was still at the south of Avdiivka. We're still talking about fighting at Pisky, and then the front line is at Staromihailivka. The Ukrainians have position at Krasnohorivka, and the Marinka continue to be a scam. You know, it's like the fighting at Marinka never ends. Yeah, we are this far advanced. It's crazy, you know, how the war has advanced, and yet Ukraine is winning. Unbelievable. How does that happen? I don't understand. So over at the New York front, Russian forces are fighting generally still in the Toretsk region. Fighting is reported at Dashny, Toretsk, Skibinivka, and Nelipivka. So Nelipivka is still mentioned by the Ukrainian Defense Ministry, by the Ukrainian side, which is super weird, but yeah, it is what it is. So as we zoom out, we go into the Bakhmut front. The Bakhmut front, we have the general idea of fighting at Chasivya, Stupovsky, and Preteshny. Not much details, and I'm not going to bet on much on this area here. I don't think the Russians are going to do much around this area. Moving up to the Sivers front. At the Sivers front, we have some revival of actions here. For the first time in a long time, fighting reported at Zvenivka. Sivers was mentioned as well, and Serbianka was mentioned. Somehow, fighting at Serbianka. How it happened, where it come from, no idea. So, yeah, that's the mystery of Sivers, you know. And over at the Kremina front, fighting is reported at Terny, Zarishny, as well as Torske. Geolocation of Ukrainian forces inside Torske or south of Zarishny, and there is some strengthening of the front line. Is a correction. The Russian claims are invalidated, so no, that's what it is. Nothing very, very important per se. Over the north of this position at the Sverdlovsk front, fighting is reported at Novolyubivka, Khorakivka, Zerylyubivka. So that's all. Again, this front line here is really quiet or very slow. No, we don't really see much around this sector. And over in the Borova front or Borova sector, Russian forces are fighting at Lozova. There is some major frontline changes west of Stemakivka and Mesuzarivka. Russian forces making advance. Going south of Lozova in general, they are flanking from the south. And let's see how the Russians going to continue to play out this position from here, how the Ukrainians are going to act to react to this new reality. Fighting is reported at Novoyehorivka. Ukraine seems to have a very strong line around here. The Russians never seem to be able to break out from this area, so that's what it is. We move on to the Pischany front. At the Pischany front, we have fighting reported at Zarizove, Klushkivka, towards Novo-Osinove and Pischany. So there seems to be this big squeeze coming towards Kupiansk. So if I zoom out a bit, you can see that the Russians may be trying to squeeze the Ukrainian out. Fighting is reported at Kupiansk as well. And what is more shocking is the development and the start of the Dvorichna front. So at the Dvorichna front, after the previous fighting reported over at Novomlinsk, where the Russians have most likely captured Novomlinsk and fighting was moving towards Fikholivka, suddenly the Ukrainian sources reported a major development where the Russians have crossed the Oskil River from Masyutivka and have captured a major part of the forest east of Zapatny. And this development is shocking, which means the Russians have a strong foothold now south of Dvorichna. And if this foothold in the north of Dvorichna has also developed strongly, the Russians could potentially pincer Dvorichna from two sides and in fact also do a direct attack. That would be the encirclement or attack from three different directions. I'm not sure how the Ukrainians are acting to this. I'm quite sure that if they really want to hold Dvorichna, which is a super important position, they must send in reinforcement right now to hold the line and potentially doing counterattacks against the Russian crossings. So if they don't, then this is gonna get very exciting for us, the viewers of this Ukraine war, because this is going to lead to some very complicated situation for the Ukrainians over here. And this creation of new front lines by the Russians, creating more headache, more logistic geopolitical issues, more distractions for the Ukrainians does not end here. They are doing this also in the Kharkiv front, where the Russians have seemingly a real proper front over in this Kozacha-Lopan region. Fighting is reported at Kozacha-Lopan again, and this has been ongoing since I think effectively since early November 6, 7, 10, 12, 18, 21, 24, 26, 28, and you can see that the dates are getting closer and closer. There is an intensifying fighting in the Kozacha-Lopan region, and this time around Hotivka was mentioned. Previously Kudievka is the one that was mentioned, so the fighting may have advanced a little bit. The Russians have advanced towards Hotivka, which is over here. This Hotivka, Kudievka, Kozacha-Lopan. So this could potentially be a major front line developing in this sector, which no mapping is mapping yet, and we are not sure. And this could be a reaction to a potential Ukrainian major offensive operation into the Belgorod region, which the Russians are currently trying to deter by creating a buffer zone. There is a possibility of what's currently happening, because the Sersky, the commander, the overall commander of all Ukrainian forces, talked about wanting to launch a new offensive. The only place that makes sense is towards Belgorod. So from the Kozacha-Lopan region, going down the highway, this area here can no longer be used due to the Russian buffer zone. So Kozacha-Lopan looks like the only way to Belgorod. The other sector here is a bit far, and the Ukrainians have already tried this area before. We have a lot of fighting reported in these sectors in Grivoron, and the previous incursions at Grivoron was quite PR disaster for both sides, both Russian and Ukrainian side. So shelling is reported at Slatine as well, and this is just yet another indicator that there's a potential Ukrainian build up around this sector. So let's wait and see how this play out. Otherwise, in the other sectors, we have the usual fighting is reported at Lipsy as well as Voschansk. These are the usual frontline skirmishes, so not that important. We move into the Kursk front. At the Kursk front, we have the return of fighting at Krylovka. So let's zoom in the southern flank. The southern flank fighting is reported still in the Blakovo region, and the Russians are pushing in the direction of Krylovka. So this is reported by the Russian Defense Ministry. So that's all we know for now. Nothing much else that we know. Over in the eastern flank, we have fighting reported at Martinovka. So this is a continuation of the previous attack that was reported on the 28th. 29th, probably there was also an attack, but because of the weekly summary, we have a break. But most likely it's a 28, 29, 30. Actually, not true. The Kursk update is a separate thing. So it's like, they skip one day. So then they're going to try again now. So yeah, that's what it is. So, and my hand is so big, because the change the camera angle. So like, that looks more dynamic, right? So over in the western flank, this is where the main fighting is currently happening. Russian forces are fighting in the region of Viktorovka, Leonidovo, Novoivanovka, Alexandria, Lebedevka, Svetikovo, Nizhny Klint, as well as Nikolaevo Darino. Of course, Svetikovo could also potentially come in this direction, or Nikolaevo Darino can come from the north as well. So there is a current situation in the Kursk western flank. Generally, strategically, there's no change in this sector. Pretty much everything remains the same. So, and it is really losing its glamour around here. No one really cares about Kursk anymore. Everybody is distracted by all sort of crazy things happening in Donetsk region, as well as in the Middle East in Syria. And there is an important geolocation though. Over in the Krylenkoe region, Ukrainian forces has been geolocated in these two forest patch. One over here in the smaller forest and one in the bigger forest, confirming Ukrainian presence in this Krylenkoe salient. And now it looks like a funny monster around here. Let's give it some horns. There's no horn, there's like hair, and yeah. So, and give it a ribbon. So anyway, that's it. So this is the situation report. Oh yeah, there's one more thing. the Russians have sent special operation forces into the Chernihiv region. This is really bizarre. So in case you do not know, this is the Chernihiv region. This area here, this is Kiev, and this is the Chernihiv region. The Russian forces incurred into the border region and blew up a bridge for some unknown reasons. So this is the Snov River, and Snorlax used to live there, and they destroyed this bridge. And this is super weird. I wonder if this, because there is a river going through here, there's this is a Snov River, and I suspect that this might be the Russians wanting to take all these grounds and annex it into Russia. Maybe this is what they want to do. They blow up the bridge for some reasons. Very, very bizarre. I wonder what is this about. This happened pretty much very similar to something that happened previously. Let me find where was it. I think I can't remember. I can't remember where was this previous occasion. Is it here? No. There is another region along the border that the Russians did this as well. I can't remember offhand. Suddenly I forgot where is it now. Yeah, the Russians did attack, in the similar fashion somewhere else. Yeah, I just cannot remember where. Is it here? No, I can't. Sorry, I can't remember when. So one of the border regions, the Russians did the same thing. They attacked across the river and basically conquered grounds. There was a bordered by river. I just cannot remember. Maybe it's in the Kharkiv region, but yeah, I can't remember where the hell it is already. So can't be here. Yeah, forget it. I think I give up. So anyway, this is just interesting incursion, the blowing up of the bridge. Probably just some disturbance just to screw with the Ukrainians, just like what the Ukrainians love to do when they cross across the border to screw with the Russians. Yeah, maybe it's just a PR stunt or something. So anyway, it is what it is. Thank you for watching. Press the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys when you subscribe. Press the like button in the next update.